Thank you all so much for your testimony. My question is both for Mr. Bell and Ms. Miller. Two things. Uh, Mr. Bell, you were cut off before you started talking more about the interstate compact, so I do want to hear your position on it, and as well, Ms. Miller, any thoughts? I know it's in the budget, and we want to see. I'd love to hear your position. And two, I'm curious how the safe staffing bill that we passed, I think 2021 or 2022, has rolled out, has it impacted? Sounds like conditions haven't been improved amongst the, the patient care and the overall stress in the job. So I'm just curious what was missing from that, or the rollout's been slow. If you can share some feedback there.
We could start there. So I will say that it's a new law. It has a phased implementation. The last phase was actually making these staffing plans and enforceable in 2023. So this has been the first year that it's been in full effect. I think, therefore, it's early to tell. I can tell you that there have been some places that we have seen the theory of the law where you collaborate between management and healthcare workers for adequate staffing work. And there have been a lot of places where it hasn't. I think at this point, in November, you may have seen CWA filed 8,000 violations of the clinical staffing committee law. This is probably an absolute small fraction of the number of violations that occur every single day, including the sickest of the sickest in ICUs with, instead of 1 to 2, you're talking 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5. So, and these are happening in hospitals that we would go to. So, in our areas, in our communities. So, I think it's a little early to tell on the efficacy of the law, but staffing is an enormous issue. And I think what the state's role needs to be in that particular context is ensuring robust activist enforcement to make sure that law works. There's still opportunity to do so, and that's critical.
Great. Mr. Bell?
Yeah, I would just add, I think it's very important in looking at especially from nurses, which is what, our perspective, but in terms of the staffing issues, it's very important to take a page from the doctors and not do any more harm, right? We have all these stressors on the workforce, and a lot of what's in the budget is just going to add to it. For example, the medication aids. If you look at the text of that medication aid proposal, forget about the patient care issues and other issues, the labor issues. Look at the text of that and look at how many of the oversight functions fall on the nurse, right? It's they have to train them, they have to assess them, they're responsible, they're legally liable for what those people do in terms of administering the meds. That's not acceptable. That just adds to the stressors, and that adds to turnover.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Sophie?
Yes. Mr. Jensen.